Thomas the Tank Engine is proud of his branch line. But sometimes he has to take trains along the main line when the other engines are busy. Thomas doesn't like this very much. "I'm an icon of my branch line," he grumbled to the other engines. "What good is it for me to run the line if I'm never on it anymore?"
"The Fat Controller puts us where we are needed," said Henry. "Besides, I hear Daisy's enjoying the company of the passengers."
Thomas fumed away without a word. Market day was approaching soon. The goods trains were frequently going back and forth down the line. Any engine that could pull was working. One day, Thomas was coming down the line with a goods train. James chuckled.
"Look at little Thomas out on the main line doing tender engine work," he teased.
"At least I can do my work without a truck attached to my bunker," he continued along. Thomas arrived at Edward Station. He was exhausted, so he stopped at the water tower for a drink. Boco came down from Gordon's Hill. He was pulling a goods train too. Thomas noticed Boco was pulling a strange wagon. It was long and on 2 trucks. "What's that?" Thomas asked.
"It's a brake tender,"
Boco explained. "It acts as an anchor to help me break down the hill easier and keep the trucks in order. I won't be using it for my next train, so you're welcome to take it if you would like." Thomas was abashed. "Me? Using a tender? What would the other engines think?" Boco rolled his eyes. "Suit yourself. Good luck." Thomas did need luck. His trucks did not cooperate at all. He made a horrible noise going up Gordon's Hill, and going downhill was no better. Thomas had to work very hard to keep the trucks from pushing him downward. He was worn out by the time the day was over. The next day, Thomas had to take a slow goods down the branch line. Station by station, his train grew longer and longer. He reached the junction hoping to find another engine that would be there to take charge of his train. But there was no other engines to be seen. "Sorry, Thomas. Looks like we're taking a trip down the main line again," his driver told him. Thomas gulped. He had to pass through Edward Station again. He saw the brake tender in a siding. Thomas sniffed indignantly. But he also remembered how difficult yesterday's journey was. He didn't want to do that twice. Swallowing his pride, but also making sure no other engines were in the yard, Thomas backed down onto the tender. "I'm sure Boco wouldn't mind if I took it. I'll quickly bring it back before anyone can know." Boco told Thomas that the brake tender was meant to be used as an anchor, but Thomas didn't know that it also adds weight to his train. With a longer train than yesterday, Thomas was heading for trouble. He took off up Gordon's Hill when he realized something was wrong. The train was getting heavier and heavier. His wheels were moving forwards, but the weight of the train dragged him backwards. Thomas applied his brakes on the tender too quickly and too hard. The coupling behind the tender broke, and the train launched free like a bullet running away down the line. The train crashed into a pile of rubble spreading across the line. Thomas, meanwhile, was still sliding down the hill. With the tender's brakes on, he couldn't stop in time. They were stuck. James came with the breakdown cranes. On board was the Fat Controller. "Trying to be a Chender engine, Chomish," he boomed. "Chenders don't shoot jank engines. Perhaps you will think next time before parading with things that aren't yours." Thomas had to stay there while a line was cleared for the engines to pass. Everyone saw Thomas's predicament and laughed.
"Who's this new tender entrant?"
They would tease.
Don't mind him, whistled James to the others. It's only Thomas, the tender engine.
Thomas said nothing as he hid in a cloud of steam.